Today's video is going to be a different one. Not so much uplifting or inspiring, but it's a video that I think if myself watched this 5 to 6 years ago, I'd be disappointed at myself and sad overall. In a way, it's like an apology video to me from the past because I feel like more recently my life goals, my life foresight, or just how I see the rest of my life playing out has changed a lot. And I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's giving up. I think it's just letting reality set in and realize that we all kind of have one life and we got to dealt the cards we're given. And you want to make the best of it. And because every year that goes by, you're pretty much never going to get that year back. You're never going to be able to retry or reattempt every single year of your life. Let me start from the beginning. This is getting really deep real fast. But if you guys didn't know, the reason I kind of got into YouTube and the reason I kind of was interested in making movies and videos and stuff was because I wanted to become a director or a producer or a screenwriter or an actor, all those things. It kind of everything rolled into one. I was kind of really into movies, and I was inspired a lot by Chris Nolan and Inception and The Dark Knight, and I wrote a lot of, screenplays and stories that I genuinely felt for many years I needed to make. I felt like my purpose on this planet, I mean, that kind of meaning, like nothing else mattered other than me making these movies that I thought would be influential enough or make people think enough or just change media in the way that media had kind of changed me after watching films and TV that had kind of influenced me and made me the person that I am. I thought my job, my purpose as a human being on this planet was to go out and make films that were not just student films, not just seen by your friends or a few 100,000 people online. I mean like full-on Avengers or superhero or Star Wars or Marvel, full-on like everybody goes out and watches you. Hundreds of $1 million budget movies. That was like my end goal, was to make, trilogies and cinematic universes and these giant stories and stuff like that. And I think that was important. I do think for the growth of myself and for the ambition of my younger years to develop, I needed a huge goal like that. I needed it to feel like I wasn't just making fun little comedy skits or fun little action scenes on YouTube just for the sake of it would be fun to get clicks. It would be fun to be famous. That wasn't the goal. It was like, this is my stepping stone. This is what I have to do in order to fulfill or reach my true purpose in life, which is to make films that can be seen by the million and people line up around the block to see. That was the end goal. So that's what kind of kept me going. That's what, on days where I was stressed or had a lot of homework or had work and I was tired, and when I got home I just wanted to relax, that mindset is what kept me getting off the couch, getting off the chair and saying, you know what? It may not feel like a big deal to talk about iPhone leaks, or it may not feel like a big deal to make a little vlog or make a little comedy skit right now, but this little step is going to get me closer to that end goal of becoming a filmmaker. And I think, honestly, I don't have that aspiration anymore. And it's not that I don't feel the need to get up and make videos, because the truth is, and I hope the takeaway kind of from this video is, I really enjoy what I'm doing. I love being my own boss and making content at my own pace and being in complete control and being able to adapt my own schedule and just kind of talk about whatever interests me. And I really enjoy it. And I think what I'm realizing now, going more so into adulthood, coming out of, the teenage years and moving into married life and planning and savings and budgeting and seeing what our future has in store for us based on what our present is, which we never know what the future has in store. I know that. I just mean, even if what I wanted originally came true, as in like Tailosive exploded or views started multiplying even more so than they already are. I mean, I'm acting like Tailosive isn't that popular. The truth is, relatively speaking to what I used to make for content not so long ago, it is really popular. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people watching my videos every day, and I don't take that for granted. I really see that as an amazing, super incredible milestone that I'm very, very proud of, and I'm thankful for you guys for tuning in. The fact that anyone online would actually watch this now. I wouldn't be able to say that 5 to 6 years ago. It would have been a dream that people would want to watch me talk about whatever came to my mind. Let's say the channels blew up. Let's say someone came in and donated millions of dollars and said, Drew, I want you to go make your movies, or I want you to become a producer. I want you to make your big movie studio. I feel like if that happened, I wouldn't enjoy it as much as what I'm doing now. You know, I think that when I was younger, I was obsessed with the idea of creating sagas and cinematic universes and trilogies and all kinds of movies and stories like that would influence and change the world. I love the idea of it, but like I've talked about, I think in previous videos, or maybe just in person-to-person relationships, like, I think you need to be, in order to be happy in life, you need to be obsessed with the process of something more so than the product. I think a lot of people, you know, growing up would say, when I was a kid, people would say things like, I want to be a video game designer. And it wasn't necessarily that because they were really, really into code and software, they just liked to play video games. And they thought that I should make video games because then I get to play more. In reality, I would watch them grow up and realize, like, oh, designing something like a video game is quite complicated and requires immense patience and creativity and a whole lot of just, I want to say elbow grease, but it's more like knuckle grease, all the coding and typing and that kind of thing. And it's something that the idea of it would be exciting or interesting to a kid, but then when they find out what the day-to-day of it is like, they're like, oh, no, that's not it. I just enjoy video games, so I thought if I was a video game designer, that would be fun. But in reality, this is a lot of work, This takes a lot of studying and learning and software engineering that is way more complicated than you think. And I feel somewhat like that when it comes to the filmmaking stuff, watching YouTube channels way bigger than me, with way more of an audience that they're not even doing tech videos. They're like designated filmmakers, and they have a hard time getting the stories out that they want to tell. And they have a hard time working with producers and studios overseeing everything, saying, hey, you need to use these types of actors and you need these types of people involved, and also you can't actually reference this anymore, and you also have to bring up this several times in the script because that's what marketing says we need more of, or this is what our company says we have to do in your picture. So just the lack of control you have on your own stories that you're trying to tell. And these are people with millions of subscribers I've seen, with immensely more talent and experience than I have, and they can't even do it. And I won't lie, it's discouraging to see that. I mean, it's just a fact that not everyone can be the next big, Russo brothers, or the next Christopher Nolan or Steven Spielberg. Not everyone can be the next big filmmaker storyteller. And a lot of it has to do with talent and perseverance and how hard someone tries. But I think a lot of it also kind of has to come into knowing the right person, especially in today's world of Netflix and Prime Video and all these streaming services, Disney, all that stuff. A lot of it just comes down to who you know, not so much what you know. And realizing that, having lots of talented members in the family that pursued film careers, and people that I watch online that are much bigger than me, seeing huge popular YouTubers fight to the teeth just so they can have a slight cameo in a movie. and that's the best they can get after years and years of creativity and generating an audience. The best they can get is like 1 to 2 minutes of screen time in a popular movie, and they have so little control over what they're actually present in or whatever movies they want to make. All this to say, I've kind of lost that aspiration of that. I'm gonna eventually get to the point where I make movies and I'm gonna be a movie studio. Not just for the technical reasons. I mean, there's of course that whole side of my brain that says, well, how are you going to get that kind of money? How are you going to find someone with those kinds of contacts that would allow that to happen? Even technical issues aside, I don't think after doing this lifestyle of content for you guys and spending time with Louise and figuring out how we want to become more self-sufficient and develop passive income and budgetary things, and I really enjoy this, and I think it's unreasonable for me to look back at what my younger teenage self wanted me to become and say, well, Drew, you didn't become that. You didn't become what you wanted to be when you were young, and therefore you failed. I think that's a selfish way of looking at it, and I think that's an unappreciative of a way of looking at it. It'd be like looking at all of you watching my videos every day, or tuning into even this video, which is so weird and different than the usual. It'd be like seeing all these accomplishments and being like, yeah, that's not good. That's not good enough. You wanted to do better. You wanted to strive for more. And because you didn't achieve those goals you had originally set for yourself, you failed. I don't think I failed. Looking back, I think my younger self set really, really high goals to motivate myself to get through the day and to get up and realize that I needed to do this. And those actions of my younger self, pushing and working hard to get where Tailosive and the network has gotten today, those actions allowed for the really happy and gratifying and satisfying lifestyle I live now. So a simpler way of looking at it is just aiming for the stars and landing on the moon. You didn't get quite as far as you were hoping, but you still achieved something that was quite incredible. And I suppose I feel like I landed on the moon with Tailosive. The number of people I've met, not just in YouTube, but in life in general, that have strived and worked really, really hard to try to find something they enjoy and can make a living at. That's so rare, and I am so insanely lucky to be able to be one of those people that can do something that they enjoy for a living and also make a living at it and live off of it. And I take that with so much gratitude, and I never want to assume that was going to happen, or I never want to take that for granted. I never want to just be like, yeah, you guys will always be here, or yeah, it would have happened anyway. Anyone could have really done it. It's like lots of people do it, but acting like it's not that special, or acting like, yeah, it just happens to anyone, it's not true. I think it is an amazing milestone, and I don't think, trying to work with producers or work with movie studios or work with actors who don't want to cooperate and trying to tell this grand story that you're interested in, I don't think I would enjoy that more. I think I loved the product of it, the idea of having a movie that you could put your name on and say, yeah, I made this. But the process of it, the day-to-day of it, would involve a whole lot more stress, a whole lot more frustration with people not understanding your vision and that kind of thing, and a whole lot of time away from the people you care about. And honestly, I think it may have been silly of me when I was younger to assume that movies or TV shows and that kind of thing can really change the whole world. They can change the world of a person. They can change someone's attitude towards something, but thinking it's as influential as I did, I think was unrealistic. You know, it made sense for a teenager to think that way, but not so much when you get older and you realize how people are and how people deny the truth and how people behave, and you just realize that a lot of people are just hopeless. It's like they're the way they are and you can't change them. And there's always going to be people that don't understand the message you're trying to send. You know, you can try to make a point about something and they'll misunderstand it or misinterpret it, and that's just inevitable. I see that a lot in YouTube already. I see that with my own videos, and I'm not even talking about that deep a subject. It's always just, tech stuff. So it's not that I dread or I'm bored or I'm tired of being a guy who just talks about technology. I really enjoy it. And, personalities change and preferences change and people change over time. But at least right now, at this stage in my life, I feel like I could do it forever. Again, I might change someday. I might turn into a different person who prefers different things. But honestly, I feel like the type of work I'm doing right now that, people thank me for and I'm able to create in a time-effective manner and still have time to go on adventures and see the world and spend time with my wife and make a decent living, I think I could do it for the rest of my life. I mean, I think I could pretty much make tech videos until I die. That may sound horrible to some of you, but for me, it's a dream job. And maybe that's the whole takeaway of this video is just I want to vocalize how grateful I am for the position I'm in. And maybe there's a subconscious side of me that feels like I don't deserve it, that feels like I lucked out in some way or I shouldn't have gotten a title like this because, I see people around me working and they're struggling or having a hard time finding meaning or enjoyment in their work. And a lot of people just work hoping for the day to be over and they can't wait for work to be done. Whereas me, I'm in this lucky, incredibly fortunate position where I can't wait to get back to work. I'm excited to go to work. But I'm also excited to stop working and spend time with the people I care about. So I may sound redundant here, but letting go of dreams, I guess, is what this is about, is realizing when a dream probably isn't as great as you thought it would be. And it's not necessarily a happy thing to let go of dreams. Obviously, there's some sadness to it, and there's a lot of emotional attachment to these stories in these movies that I originally wanted to make. And it feels kind of weird letting go of that. It feels kind of weird just admitting to yourself, you know what? I don't think it's going to happen. Technical reasons and for also your own personal, what you want to spend your life doing. Just realizing what I used to want, I don't think I want anymore. And I guess that's part of growing up. That's part of maturing and realizing what you care about the most in the world. And just realizing what I want the most and what I want to be happy, I realize shouldn't be looked at as failure, because it would be unfair and unreasonable to all those who have that huge set goal in their mind of, I just want to be able to make YouTube videos for a living. And that's a dream in itself that I see a lot of people have. And the fact that I was able to get there so young, it still confuses me. I still don't get it. I still don't understand what I did or what happened that allowed me to get to this place. So yeah, it's kind of a big realization, and it may not mean anything to you. If anything, I just did this for me, for my own therapeutic sake, but I figured why not talk about it with you guys, because this channel was mainly for talking about what's going on in my head, what's going on in my life. And that's kind of just the realization that hit me primarily last night. I was having a little bit of a hard time sleeping, and it just dawned on me that this dream that I originally shot for, I think I'm going to let go of. And I'm not going to anticipate that it's going to happen or expect it to happen. I know there's likely a lot of supportive viewers out there that are saying, yeah, you never know, something could open up, someone could come approach you, or your channel could blow up even further or even more so. And I think I want to just keep doing this. And I want to encourage you guys to continue to shoot for the stars and set high goals for yourself and push yourself. But also realize how nice you may have something today. I think it's really easy for people to forget and to take for granted some of the privileges or positive things they have in their life currently, and assume that they can't be happy unless XYZ happens. And I think we need more gratitude and gratefulness in today's world when everyday privileges are suddenly going away, whether it be going out to eat or going to concerts or events and that kind of thing, or just being able to walk around outside. Very basic stuff that now we can't always have. So we've only got one life, people. Make the absolute most of it you can. Anyway, sorry if that was weird. Thanks for sticking around the whole time, and hope you have an excellent day, guys. Take care.